This is the story of Hans Niemann's most shocking game of 2022 and the hidden reasons for what happened that lie beneath the surface when you dig a bit deeper. So this game was played in the World Rapid Championships 22. They were played in Kazakhstan, and here we have Hans Niemann with the white pieces, 19-year-old from the US, playing against Shamsidin Vokhidov from Uzbekistan. Now Niemann the stronger player on paper, both players blitzing out moves here. Let's see what happened. So we see d4 from Niemann, knight f6 now played, knight c3, so an unusual move blocking the c pawn, and after d5 from black we get bishop to f4. So this setup is known as the Jabava London system, famed by Badur Jabava, who played it quite a lot. And the idea is that instead of putting a pawn on c3, the classic formation of the London, you have the knight on that square. Very tactical kind of opening. So c5 from black strikes at the centre, and now this is where Hans plays a very unusual move. The main response here is pawn to e3, looks completely natural. And by the way, knight b5 coming for this fork is no good. Then there's queen a5 check, picking up the knight if you don't drop it back. You've just wasted time for no reason. But what Hans plays here instead of e3 is pawn to e4. He's well prepared. Now, this is a pawn sacrifice, really unusual idea. Black instantly gobbles up this pawn. Now the knight is captured, the pawn takes back, and this is Hans's idea to take on c5. Now we see black give a check here. If you swap the queens, which is playable, well then we could get something like this. You try and win the pawn back, but white can defend it with, say, bishop to e3, b4. Now, they're not going to win that pawn back, but equally white's going to have a hard time winning this one back. It's roughly level, but it's not the most precise way for black to play. Instead, we see queen a5 check, and after that one's blocked, the pawn is won back, and the only way for white to stay with a rough equality here is to go queen a4 check, that one gets blocked, and then you win back the pawn. So g6 now played, preparing to develop the bishop. The knight develops here, the bishop came to g7, and this is where Hans Niemann plays a shocking move. So he goes bishop to e2, leaving himself wide open to a tactic. Can you see the move that black played in this position here? So the way to punish this is bishop takes on c3 with check. And everything's collapsing now, because if the pawn recaptures, which didn't happen, you retake with the queen, and no matter how you block the check or if you move the king, then the rook in the corner drops, and so not only are you in exchange down, but you're also 2 pawns down. It's game over. So Hans didn't take the bishop here, he meekly blocked with the knight, but now bishop f5 was played, and this was the final move of the game. No matter where that queen goes, a4, e3, say it comes to f3 here, well then you can take on b2. This is one sample line, there are other good moves. You hit the rook in the corner, can't come to b1, the bishop covers that square, can't come to c1, the bishop covers, so say it comes to d1, well now you can go with the other bishop, again you're winning in exchange, you're 2 pawns up, it's game over. So how does Hans Niemann, a 2700 grandmaster, go down in 12 moves? Well, in my opinion, his ego got the better of him here, and I'll give some more context around that. So let's rewind first to this move here, knight c3, bishop f4. This is the Jabava London as mentioned, and Hans Niemann has done this course, which is on Chessable, on the Jabava London. So he's arguably one of the world's leading experts in these systems now, or should be. And then not only that, but on this move here, he hits his opponent with a very unusual piece of opening prep. But his opponent is completely unfazed, just blitzes out this move. Taking here, just going through all this mainline opening stuff, look at the clock times, both players just absolutely blitzing, which is fine if you don't mess up your lines. But then we get to this position here, and instead of taking a moment, Hans blitzes out bishop to e2. He should do something like queen e3, that's the main move, then you don't run into the tactic. but he blitzes out bishop e2 and just crashes and burns. And when we look at the clock times once again after bishop e2, you know, both players got way more time than they started with. So where am I going with this ego thing? Well, because Hans had made a course on this, because he was higher rated than his opponent, because he hit him with some opening prep that his opponent was completely unfazed by, even though he was weaker, etc., I don't think Hans liked this. He wanted to be ahead on the clock. He wanted to be the more dominant player. Now, at times, this can work really well for him. We saw him rub up Magnus the wrong way. But at times, this kind of style and mentality can backfire, as we saw in this game. So I'm fascinated to also hear from yourselves on whether you agree that this psychological aspect played a big part in Hans messing up this game, losing in 12 moves as a 2700 level grandmaster now. And before you go, if you're looking to improve your chess in 2023, then there's a massive offer I need to make you aware of from aimchess. Now, they really are exceptional. I've just started working with them recently using the tool. This is a paid promotion, but I love the way this tool works. It's so personalized. So unlike chess.com, Lichess, other learning sites, Chessable courses, the difference here with aimchess is they pull your data in from Lichess or chess.com. They'll pull your games in, analyze them very rapidly, and then it spits out this really cool dashboard that shows where you need to improve your chess, whether it's openings, endgames, tactics. And that's the cool thing. It won't just show you need to improve openings, it will show which of your openings are weakest. Then when it comes to tactics, it won't just say you need to improve certain tactics, it will pull up tactics from your own games, so you start to learn the motifs and traps, etc., on your own games in the positions you frequently get. So it really is exceptional, and if you use the code down below, you get 30% off. So check that one out, and I hope to see you again on a future video. See this video on screen if you want to learn more about the chess cheating scandal that has rocked the chess world this year in 2022.